UFC Fight Night Seattle, Henry Cejudo versus Song Yadong is tomorrow. So I'm gonna go through the whole card from the main event to the opening prelims, giving you my prediction for each fight. Without wasting time, let's get into it. So, Cejudo versus Song Yadong. I got a bit I want to say about Cejudo, but I want to talk about this matchup first. I want to start off with Song Yadong, 27 years old, coming off of a loss to Piotr Young, top of the division. He beat Chris Gutierrez by unanimous decision, knocked out Ricky Simone, lost to Corey Sandagan, and beat Michael Marias. Now, moving over to Henry Cejudo, he's coming off of a loss last year to Marab Devalishvili, went on to beat Sean O'Malley, beat Omar, and is currently looking like potentially the greatest bantamweight of all time. Before that, knocked out Dominic Cruz, knocked out Marlon Moraes, beat TJ Dillashaw, and most notably beat Demetrius Johnson to win the flyweight title. Now, Henry Cejudo, 38 years old, in the bantamweight division. You know, we all know in these younger weight classes, age is more of a factor than in the heavier classes. You can get away with fighting as a 40-year-old. We've seen guys like Glover Teixeira, Randy Couture, Jan Blachowicz win a title at such an old age. But the speed is a factor. The age is a factor. And I feel like Henry Cejudo, his whole thing with retiring when he did was he was trying to get leverage against the UFC because he thought that he was a massive star, beating Demetrius Johnson, beating TJ Dillashaw, beating Dominic Cruz. And I feel like had he kept fighting, maybe had a few more title defenses, he would have been that massive star. He could have been the big guy at flyweight making the money. The Triple C gimmick is that corny, but it works. But he's coming in against Song Yadong, a young fighter, ranked number 7, 27 years old, against a 38-year-old who started off at flyweight. I'm gonna go Song Yadong by decision. I don't think that Cejudo will get knocked out. He's too high of a level wrestler to be submitted, I feel, in this fight. And the submission threat I don't really see from Song Yadong. I feel like he will keep it on the feet. But I'm going to go with Song Yadong winning by unanimous decision, possibly winning, 4 rounds to 1, depending on how Henry Cejudo looks when he comes back. Again, this guy could have been a massive star. He could have made a ton of money in that little span where he retired after, when was it? The Dominic Cruz fight. That was 4 years ago. So he retired at 34. He could have kept going. I think that the division back then was a lot. I don't mean to shit on fighters, but it was much easier than it is now with Marab, Umar, Corey Sandhagen, Sean O'Malley, guys like these who have come up and really changed the game in the bantamweight division. So I'm going Song Yudong by decision once again. Moving on to the co-main event, Brendan Allen versus Anthony Hernandez. You look at Brendan Allen, he's coming off a loss to Nazim Imavov, who just knocked out Israel Adesanya. Before that, beat Chris Curtis in a very close fight with split decision. Submitted Paul Craig, submitted Bruno Silva, and submitted Andre Muniz. You look at Anthony Hernandez, he knocked out Michael Pereira, um, submitted Roland Koplev, beat Edmund Sebastian by ground and pound, beat Marc-Andre Barrios by arm triangle, and beat Josh Frem by unanimous decision. I'm going to go with Anthony Hernandez by a third round TKO. I just I feel like he has more to offer. I feel like he definitely has the striking advantage going into this. Brendan Allen will have the grappling advantage, but I don't see him getting that big takedown, and I feel like Anthony Hernandez's grappling is good enough to withstand the tools that Brendan Allen has shown us. So, once again, Hernandez, third round TKO, getting it done, turning out to be a pretty interesting cross. I guess he wouldn't be a prospect. Turning out to be what will be a fun mainstay in the middleweight division for at least uh, 3 to 4 years. I think I don't see him beating the likes of a Hamzat Chimaev or a DDP, but you never know. Moving on to Rob Font versus Jean Matsumoto. This originally was supposed to be Dominic Cruz's retirement fight, but Cruz got injured, retired before it. Now, I had a really tough time figuring this one out because you look at Matsumoto, beat back Katona by decision, submitted Dan Argueta, beat Casey Tanner by decision, Marlon Basilio in LFA, and Ronaldo Santos in LFA. You look at a guy like Rob Font coming off of a win against Kyler Phelps, lost to Davison Figueiredo by unanimous decision, lost to Corey Sandhagen by unanimous decision, knocked out Adrian Yanez by a right hook and ground and pound, and then lost to Marlon Vera. This is tricky for me because, like Henry Cejudo, age needs to be a factor here. But I feel like he has more tools than Matsumoto. I don't really know how Matsumoto will pan out in the top of bantamweight. Again, another stacked division. We went through the names there. So I'm going to go with Rob Font to win by decision, and I think that he will retire here. You know, if he does sign another fight, he will be 38 and 30, 38 in these lower weight classes. Like I said with Henry Cejudo, it usually doesn't end well unless your name is Demetrius Johnson or one of the all-time greats, right? So I'm gonna go Rob Font by close decision. I feel like he'll land good shots, he'll land good combinations, and I want to see him retire after this. You know, Rob Font did have a good run years ago. He did look like a contender, but he never was able to beat the premier bantamweights of, Corey Sanding and Davison Figueiredo when he came up. But, anyways, moving on to our next fight, Jean Silva versus Bogdasarian. I'm going to go with Jean Silva by second round knockout. You look at Bogdasarian, he beat Tucker Watts, lost to Josh Koval. I hate reading these names. Beat Bruno Sforza, beat Colin Anglin by TKO, sorry, and then beat Dennis Brzezowski or however you say it. Joaquin John Silva uh, beat Drew Dober pretty easily. Doctor stoppage, knocked out Charles Jourdain with an uppercut, beat by Weston Wilson by KO, beat Kevin Vazquez on the Contender Series by decision, and before that, beat a guy named Shahin Najifi by TKO. I'm going with John Silva in this fight. Uh, he's moving down in featherweight. He should be much bigger, coming in at the maximum. Uh, well, I guess Bogdanovich does have the height advantage, but I just think that John Silva, his striking is much better. He'll probably piece him up, and then in the second round, I figure maybe lands a kick, drops some finishes on the ground. Go with John Silva. Moving on to our next fight, we have Alonzo Manifield versus Julius Walker. Now, I did look at Julius Walker. Eh, From what I've seen, looks really good. Uh, won his last fight by TKO. Uh, Bevan Lewis, TKO. Niall Bertilian, submission. Mike Cook, TKO. And then submission by Brian Port. He does look really good. I like what I saw from the fights I saw of his. Moving on to Alonzo Manifield, got KO by Asmat Murzakanov, got KO by Carlos Goldberg, beat Dustin Jacoby by unanimous decision, submitted Jimmy Crute by guillotine, and uh, before that was the majority draw against Jimmy Crute. I'm going to go with Manifield to win this fight. I'm leaning more towards a decision or a very late knockout because I do think that this Walker guy could be a very interesting addition to the light heavyweight division. But I just, again, I've seen so many guys who come in with these undefeated records, have these spectacular finishes in the lower promotions, and then when they make it to the UFC, the mid card guys, the guys that are just just below the elite, are able to finish them. And again, in order to get to the UFC too, you have to be insanely talented. I'm not trying to shit on them, even though I completely am. But I'm going to go with Manifield, once again, by either a late finish or just by decision with the experience that he has in the UFC. He's been in, with guys like Goldberg, Murzakanov, and he's seen a lot in his fights in the UFC. Moving on to the next one, Kutabala versus Evil Aslan. I really like both of these fighters. Kutabala, though, I feel like every time I think he's gonna do well, he just doesn't show up, or it's just the other person is clearly better than him. Looking at this, beat Ivan Erzwan, lost to Philip Lynn, Felipe Lins, beat Tanner Bozer, lost to Kennedy Nizukua by TKO, lost to Johnny Walker by submission. Looking at Evil Aslan though, KO Rafael Squaria, beat Anton uh, Turkalj, beat Paul Renato Jr. on the Contender Series by TKO. Uh, then before that, TKO win and is that Banderita. Not sure what promotion that is. And then another KO in Sparta. I'm going to go with Evil Aslan. I really like what I've seen from him so far. I am thinking it'll be a second round knockout. Something will throw his name up there as a possibly a surgeon light heavyweight. You know, light heavyweight is a division currently that is in need of prospects to show up and kick out some of the old guard there. And I think this should be a fun fight. And Ebo Aswin, pretty young, probably will have, 7, 8 years in this division. I'm interested to see what he can do. I'm going with a second round KO. Moving on to the next fight, if my computer will load. We got Andre Figueroa versus Malcazal Costa. Come on. Looking at Andre Figueroa, beat Cub Swanson by split decision. Lost to Danny Gay by TKO. Beat Lucas Almeida by TKO. Lost to Nathaniel Wood by decision. Beat Bill Algio by split decision. York Costa beat Shaylin Nerdum Becky. Um, yeah, I really hate UFC names. I really do. By submission. Lost to Steve Garcia by TKO. Beat Austin Lingo by unanimous decision. Lost to Thiago Moises by submission. And then beat Junior Mello on in LFA by an overhand left and round strike every video, man. Every video. I'm going to go with Andre Fili by decision. Um, Fili is a very interesting one. I feel like one has the experience, but he's been a 500 fighter for the last few years, and I feel like he had that one good run when he came in, and things just really didn't pan out. Um, Featherweight again too. You have to factor in is one of the most talented divisions we have with the guys that are coming up. With Elliot Taporia vacating the featherweight title, we will see what happens down there. But once again, Fury by decision. Moving on to the next fight, we have Nick Klein versus Mansur Abdul Malik. I'm going to go with Abdul Malik by first round knockout. Look at Nick Klein. He coming out for the contender series. Uh, rear naked choke. Rear naked choke. Rear naked choke. He does have really good grappling. Lost to Georgian Dekarj um, by TKO. And then before that one, or beat Tristan Overbig in the LFA. You look at Mansour, he's coming off of a win against Dusko uh, Todorovic by KO or TKO. Beat West Schultz by TKO on the Contender Series. And then in the got a knockout in LFA and is currently, um, what would that mean? On a pretty good finishing streak. I really like his ability. I think He, he's a huge favorite for a reason. He should become one of the better prospects in the middleweight division. Again, though, in the middleweight division, DDP is young. Hamza Chimaev is still young. You got Imavov up there. Obviously, this is way down the road, but I'd be interested to see him potentially have a good performance, get his name closer to the rankings, and potentially beat out some of the older guard that's still hanging around in the top 15. But yeah, moving on from that, once again, week by first round knockout, we have Ricky Simone versus Basharat. I'm going to go Basharat. Looking at Simone, lost to Vinicius Oliveira by unanimous decision. Lost to Mario Batista by unanimous decision. Got knocked out by Song Yadong. Before that, submitted Jack Shore. Beat Rafael Sunshell by TKO. You're looking at Basharat coming off of a loss to Amin Zahabi, the no contest against Victor Henry, beat Mateus Medoncha, beat Troy Gravely, and Trevor Jones. You know, I think this should be a fun fight, but again, I feel like Basharat will get it done. I think by decision, outlanding him, outpointing him. Um, when it comes to the grappling, I don't see Ricky Simone having, you know, a an insane advantage to make up for what I see as a clear advantage on the feet for Basharat. But should be a fun fight. Good rebound victory for Basharat. And yeah, moving on now to the next fight. We have Austin Vanderford versus Nikolai Vertenikov. Looking at Vanderford, beat Victor Romero in the LFA, lost to Aaron Jeffrey in Bellator by TKO, lost to Gegard Mousasi by TKO, um, beat Leon Edwards' brother, Fabian Edwards, by a unanimous decision, and Vinicius de Jesus. Looking at Britannicov, lost to Danny Barlow by split decision, knocked out Ashley Reese, um, knocked out Luis Nguez, beat Demarcus Jackson, and lost to Michael Morales on the Contender Series. I am going to go with Beretnikov. God, I hate these names. By decision, whoa. Um, I think it should be a fun fight. I just think that Beretnikov has more in his arsenal to keep Vanderford guessing. Um, it should be a close fight. It is even on here. The betting odds are near even. I just think Britannikov will get it done. Moving on to the next fight, we have Rizuriel versus Eric Mechanical. Um, looking at Rizuriel, lost to Walking Buckley in his last fight 9 months ago. Um, beat Cedric Dumas by TKO. Beat Bruno Ferreira by TKO. Submitted Pavel uh, Musalski in the WEF. Beat Luciano Contanini. Don't know who that is. Looking at Eric Mechanical, submitted a guy named Jerome Hatch, Tyler Ray for a unanimous decision, Mackie Pit- Pitolo, Kevin. I'm not gonna act like I know these people. So this is the debut of Eric McConnell. I'm going to go with Rusev to get a rebound in this fight. You know, if you guys know, Walking Buckley is one of my favorite fighters currently. I feel like in this fight he will definitely solve the grappling issue that he had against Buckley, where Buckley was basically able to take him down at will. He is a veteran, has much more experience than Eric McConaughey, is even younger than him. I'm going to go Roosevelt by second round finish. Probably a TKO. Moving on to the opening fight of uh, Modestas Bukowskis and Rafael Sequeira. Looking at Bukowskis beat Martin Pacino by submission. Lost to Vitor Petrino by a check hook. Vitor Petrino looks incredible. That's not a bad loss. Beat Zach Pago by decision. Beat Tyson Pedro by unanimous decision. And then KO'd a guy named Chuck Campbell. Looking at Rafael Sequeira, got knocked out by Evo Allison 3 months ago. Knocked out a guy named Rodrigo Arujo. Beat Evolanus Diaz, uh, beat Jonathan Azevedo by a body kick, and then submitted a guy named Gutenberg Sforza. I'm going to go Modestus Bukowskis by a third round KO. Um, I think he has to reach it. No, okay, well, anyways, I thought he had a reach for some reason, even though that reach doesn't matter. I just think that his striking will be too much for Raphael, and he'll be able to probably drop him in the third, finish it off by ground and pound. But that's my predictions for UFC Fight Night Seattle. Should be a fun card, man. Henry Cejudo, legend of the sport. I still think that Demetrius Johnson won that fight, but we'll see. We have a lot of veterans on this card. I could see a lot of retirements. Let me know in the comments down below. What are your picks for tomorrow night? Thanks for watching. If you're inclined to, share the video. I greatly appreciate it. And yeah, later.